Let me tell you something before we even get started today. Some of you are frustrated with your life, not because you're cursed, not because you're unlucky, not because the world is against you, but because you keep trying to build a future on standards that belong to your past. Let me tell you something before we even get started today. Some of you are frustrated with your life, not because you're cursed, not because you're unlucky, not because the world is against you, but because you keep trying to build a future on standards that belong to your past. You keep asking for elevation while living at a level you should have outgrown years ago. And today we're not sugarcoating it. Because your life is not responding to your dreams. Your life is not responding to your vision board. Your life is not responding to your goals. Your life is responding to your standards, the ones you live by when nobody's watching. And if that hits you, good. Because this is the episode where we stop pretending. This is the episode where we stop negotiating with our excuses. This is the episode where we stop blaming circumstances and start confronting the truth. You don't rise to the level of what you want. You rise to the level of what you refuse to live beneath. So buckle up, take a breath, and get ready. Because today, we're raising the bar on your life, your habits, your identity, and your future. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets, and today, we're waking something up in you. Greetings and welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Don't miss out. After a week full of noise, constant confusion, and distraction, this is the show that cuts through the clutter. It's the hour of the week where real talk meets real truth. We bring conversations that challenge the status quo and stir something deeper in the soul. This isn't just commentary, it's clarity, purpose, and elevation. When you tune in, you're not just watching, you're waking up. A place where common sense still matters and lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Put your hearts and hands together for the man who discovered his purpose and lives it loud, Larry Extraordinaire Moulton. And Mr. Gotta Get Your Mind Right and Open Your Eyes to the Blind Truth, the motivator himself, the amazing Keith Fletcher. And the man who brings clarity to chaos with the voice of reason you can't ignore, the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig. Make no mistake, there is no word without our host. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the message. Welcome to the world premiere, Word on the Streets.
And good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening once again, everybody. Good evening once again, everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the world premiere Word on the Streets. I am extraordinaire, but most importantly, friends, the most important people on our platform are these two gentlemen here. Friends, I'm always excited, but I'm even more excited because tonight we have another dynamic subject matter we want to bring on the table to you all. But before we do, friends, y'all know how we do it over here. There's a young man sitting right there, just waiting to come on in the middle in the game and kick this thing off. This man have a YouTube channel. Everybody know about it. It's called The Blind Truth. This man kicked stage 4 cancer in the butt. This man go live 2 and 3 times a week on Facebook. This man love y'all so much, he show up every Thursday. No excuse, no question, no nothing, no nonsense. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for the amazing, the one and only, Mr. Keith Fletcher.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And y'all know this other gentleman? Oh, you don't? Then I need to tell you something about him. This young man worked in the corporate world. And if you tune in at any given time, friends, you might have heard that during his summer, no matter how busy he is, no matter what hat he is wearing in the corporate world, he take time out to give to the young people, to guide them, shape them, mold them. That's the kind of stuff dollar bills just came by. And when you see him on Thursday here with us on the world premiere Word on the Streets, he's here because as his personality, he just loved to give back. And he liked to bring some sense, some reasons to chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, show some love for the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig.
Thank you. Appreciate that introduction.
Yeah. And as I said earlier, friends, if you all were here last week, y'all know we chopped it up a great deal. We talked about when love and money collide. That show is still burning. We was fortunate to have Mrs. Craig live on the platform with us, and friends, rather than me relitigate it, you need to go back and watch our show on last Thursday. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got your seatbelt on because we're going to dive into it. We're going to dive into when life is responding to your standard, not your goal. Respond to your standard and not your goals. And in a platform and in a world where we are driven by goal setting and motivation, and sometimes it get a little confused when we get wrapped up in our goal setting because there's so much information out there. We are driven to set goals. Tonight, we're going to open the book up and we're going to dive right into it. And as you all know, Mr. Craig, he just got off of work. He may have to leave earlier. So we're going to open up the show with Mr. Vincent Craig just coming on in here and breaking this thing down to us all. My brother, what say you?
I'm smiling because I was hoping Keith would open up so I could finish reading. Man, I've been so pressed for time. I just want to get down to real, but I want to be able to just be sincere in my answers. So I'm going to kind of lean on Keith for a little bit to open up while I because I don't ever want to give y'all like rushed anything, right, man? Because this does come straight from the heart from all of us.
Exactly.
Man.
I feel you. Yeah. I feel you. Brother, I was feeling the same way. I don't mean to cut you off, but I was feeling the same way, man. In fact, when I read this title and I heard about it, I thought nothing but about Keith Fletcher. I said, ooh, man, Fletcher, boy, this, ooh. So I don't know. So Fletcher, why don't you open this thing up for us, brother?
No, thanks, Keith.
Yeah,
thanks, Larry.
When I went through the blog, man, and going over, talk about goals all the time, and I was saying to myself, like, what is the difference between standards and goals? I make goals, all the time, and the biggest one for people do for the new year, new you, new me, we're gonna work out and all that, but we continue to fail. And I started going back looking at my life, which we do a lot on this show. We talk about what we went through. When I made a decision, I started saying, what is the standard? Is making a decision on something that I'm going to do and stick with it, being consistent in it. You know what I'm saying? So when I made it, said that, okay, I'm going to start reading a book, something simple. I remember when I first never really took a book and read a book. I said, man, I'm going to go ahead and read a book and finish a book. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go adding that to my thing. I made a decision. You know what I'm saying? That was a standard at that time to read a book. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read this book to the finish. Nothing's gonna stop me. When the goal, it was a standard. So I started adding books to mine because I never read a book. You know what I'm saying? Then I started making the standard was being late. I tell my kids all the time. I say I was always late to everything. I always wanted to be late. You know what I'm saying? Now, my life has been showing why I was late was causing me to have problems in my life. I made a standard. I said, you know what? I refuse to be late anymore. I would constantly get up early. I tell everybody now, I get up at 3:45 every morning. When I first started, I needed an alarm clock. And I kept doing it. Was the consistency of that. I made a decision and I started doing it. And the consistency of doing it over and over and over now, sometimes I hate it because I don't need a alarm clock. Now I just get up at 3:45 on my own. Without the clock, I get up a little earlier. But I was saying the standards, I tell my kids, our favorite word now is being above average. We hear everybody being average. That is not our standards. We setting the bar high. We're gonna be above average. I don't want what somebody else did. I don't hear what no one else did in their household or what else they did with this. That's not where we at. This is the standard we on. And that the beat standard, I got to lead with the lead first. I got to lead with dedication. I got to lead with consistency. For me, the word standard is being consistent. Consistent in what you're doing, doing it day by day, every day, saying that no matter what happened, no matter what comes, being consistent in that. That's what I would say. Standards over goals to me.
Man, I gotta say this, brothers, Vince, before you come in. I like to say hello to the folks in the chat room right now. Mark is in the chat room and he just added that no goals are too small. And he just now put up a new one, man. Work your way up. It's a process.
Yeah.
So we got Mark in the chat room. We have Selena in the chat room. We have Ladiana in the chat room. And listen, friends, listen, folks. We appreciate and value you all so much. You all are the lifeline and the bloodline of the world premiere Word on the Streets.
Yes.
And we love each and every one of you all. And this thing here that Fletcher talking about, man, we got to chew on this thing because Fletcher, you're so right when you mention the thing about at the first of the year, everybody is rushing down to the gym. New Year resolution, 30 days to the new you. I mean, all sorts of beautiful goals. I'm gonna buy me a pair of sneakers, workout equipment, workout clothing. I'm going to the gym. Man, I'm going to bust it wide open. And I just read a report, nothing to do with this subject, but indirectly, it has everything to do with this subject tonight. They said around this time of the year, the same folks who set their New Year resolution are nowhere in sight, Fletcher and Vincent, at the gym. They have disappeared. Now, this is a clear 2020 vision of seeing goal setting and standard. What's your standard? See, your standard gonna still be there and doing things. Goals sometimes can be fluff. Goals sometimes can be said to impress others. Goals aren't bad. Don't misunderstand me. Goal will point you in the direction. But when you have standard, oh man, that's a whole nother thing. Now, what's your standard? World premiere Word on the Streets. What's your standard? Talk to me, somebody.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and open up. First of all, thank you, Ladiana, Selena, Mark, for joining the show. We like the comments that y'all give because without y'all, we don't have a show, right? So we really like to get the engagement from the audience. So we really appreciate every comment that y'all drop. We'll try to acknowledge and read everyone's comments. But for me, I was laughing at when you talked about the gym because me and Keith were advocates of the gym, right? We'd always see that flock to where you'd have to wait for machines. Well, if we went in the evening, but then me and Keith started going 4:35 in the morning, right? Because for me, I feel like for me personally, that kind of invigorated my day and it just charged my day and it set the tone for like the rest of the day, right? It's not for everybody. It does take discipline. Uh, but we laughed. I laughed when you said that because if you look at it, the gym makes so much money off people that's making these New Year's resolutions, and a lot of them don't even cancel the membership, so they're glad that they're not showing up because it frees it it actually frees up the space for other people while they're pocketing the money. I've always been an advocate of a firm believer of, and when me and Keith used to coach side by side, I think we used to tell the kids 80% is just showing up. Like once you show up, you've already got past the hard part. You just need to just finish, right? So I do like goals, but I also like to wrap in with the goal a plan. You can make all the goals that you want, but without the action, then what is it? It's just a goal that does nothing. So for me, with the standard of that is the goals may, and again, it may work for some people, right? So I don't ever want to argue against the people that's like using the goals because everyone has to find what works for them. For me, I have a vision board, but then I go back to what you said about people with the New Year's resolutions. To me, I kind of changed my mindset. I still have a vision board of what I map out for the year, of things that I want to change, things that I want to get better at, right? It's to hold myself accountable, it's to hold my wife accountable, right? We kind of help each other out. We just have to watch the way in which we say, because if we say it the wrong way, they may get offended. So we have to learn how to communicate that to them. So what I'm saying is when people make these New Year's resolutions from an old biblical standpoint, why put off tomorrow what you can do today? And we've talked about it a lot on this show about procrastination, right? Sometimes people wait to make the New Year's resolution to make the change because they want to go ahead and eat dirty, do stuff so they can just pig out and then start of the year, I'm gonna have a fresh start. Why not start the minute that you set your mind to it, right? So for me, I look at the responding of the standards plus the goal. Everyone has a different standard. I was writing as Keith was talking and as you were talking. When I, as a parent, we have seen our kids give us examples, right? Where Johnny did this, well, other people are doing that. I'm real quick to turn it around and say, why don't you choose someone that's doing something right instead of choosing the one that's doing something wrong, right? Because it's easy to use someone that's giving an example of what they're doing wrong, but people seldom use the one that's doing the right thing. I also wrote, let's talk about the New Year's resolution. Sorry, I was writing all this stuff down so I didn't interrupt people. To piggyback off what Mark says, then work your way up. It's a process. Every day is a I'm a work in process. I'm a work in progress until the day I die. And I'm going to be a work in progress. What's going to limit and stop me is if I keep lying to myself, or if I procrastinate, or if I keep putting off. Right? I have to have that vision. Right? So for me, it's like I have to understand that I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I'm not shooting perfection. What I'm striving for is to just be a better version each day. And before I go to bed, I have to look myself in the mirror and say, did you give it your all? Were you pleased with what you did today?
Yeah, I like that,
Right.
man. I
Yeah.
like that.
But I would say, man, uh, the standard is the structure, the foundation. Is using example, to talk about finances. You have a goal to get out of debt. That's the goal. I want to get out of debt. I want to be debt free. But the foundation, the standard, once you get out there, I will not be back in that situation. I'm gonna pay my, if I do the credit card, I'm gonna pay my credit card bill off every month. It will never get to the point that I will pay payments. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to get out of debt. But once I get out of debt, what's the structure? What is the standard? The standard is not to go back in debt. How I do not go back credit card debt. I will use the credit card, but I will pay it off every month. You know what I'm saying? The standards, like saying we will meet every week or every month, twice a month to talk about finance. You know what I'm saying, and discuss that. That's the standard. We would do that, and we would stay out there. But the goal, we have goals within them standards. We have goals within those things that you have. But this is what we doing. You know what I'm saying? We don't take. We're not taking no vacation unless we can pay the whole thing off. You know what I'm saying? That's the standard. But within that, you have goals and things within that standard. So that's the foundation, the structure with me. That's how the standards go with me.
Yeah, man. We have a lot of good comments coming in there. Mark is really saying some. Mark is on fire,
Yeah,
man.
he is. Yeah, he
Let me
is.
see. I want to try to read
You
what,
want me to read them for you?
one of his comments here. Let's
Yeah, read it.
see.
One of them said,
Yeah, please do.
yeah, one of them says he already said no goals are small, start small. Then he says, then work your way up. It's a process. He says, normally if you do something for 10 days, it becomes a habit. Then I teased him and said, are you sure it's not 28 days? I said, just kidding. Uh, then he also said, I decided to change my diet because I had issues with my health and made a goal to start one meal at a time. There's that word goal. He says it's the 5 second rule. If you don't do it in 5 seconds, you probably won't do it. That's deep right there. He said,
But
try
you,
your best.
but
Yeah,
you see what he said. He
right,
made a decision.
right.
That decision was the standards right there. I made a decision, and then
Hmm.
the goals, and then the decision to be able to die, to take the die. That's the standard right there. I'm gonna die. Then the goals, all the things within. Start setting the goals within that. But you got to make a decision. You
So
got.
Keith, would you say part of that goal is the standard? It kind of all wraps up into having a plan.
Well, I'm saying the plan. We can, you got a plan, and your plan you're gonna fail, but you still got to have a structure. You got to have a foundation from the plan. Where
Yep.
do we start from? Like saying me, him being making a decision, he had health issues. You know what I'm saying? I have it's plenty of people have health issues and blow it off, but he made his decision. You know what I'm saying? And said, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. But now inside the decision he made is the consistent. It's going to look at the diet, what to eat, what to be. I gotta eat lettuce and this. Them the goals. You know what I'm saying? I plan on drinking 5 things of water every day. Those the goals inside of that. But the structure of set up the foundation, the flow chart got to be set first, and that's the standard right there.
So for Keith, so for individuals, because we've been in the fitness world for what 20, 30 years, all our lives basically, right? As athletes, and things of that nature. So would you say when you're trying to set the standard and then the goals, trying to like find out which one works best for you, how important is it for you to have an accountability partner for those that need that?
Oh, we all need accountability partners. I truly believe in accountability partners. But finding out with me, as I done been a trainer, I done trained people. You know, the accountability is finding out the person need to find out who they are and what they really want in themselves. You know what I'm saying? I can be accountability, but what is that accountability for you? I got to know you and what you know what I'm saying, how far to go, how far to be. You know, just saying I'm gonna be your accountability partner, but I got to know what's your strengths, what your weakness, and what I can do, what I push you too far. You know what I'm saying? So accountability that's kind of shaky too. But again, the person I give it like I said, they got to know. You know what I'm saying, what they want. They got to really know themselves, finding their own identity with themselves. You know, like I tell everybody, man, working out, you can walk to your mailbox and back, walk the neighborhood and back. But getting you to walk that neighborhood, getting you to do the structure, that's what I'm saying. The decision, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna do it. That's what I'm saying right there. The decision to make them say I'm going to do it. That's the part right there.
Right.
Is it important, Keith, to have as you're choosing those accountability partners for you to have the individual that you're looking to as an accountability that they need to have some certain standards and goals because you want someone to hold you that's really disciplined in those areas because you won't ask Warren Buffett how to like paint a house, right? You're gonna ask Warren Buffett about finances, right? So you got to find someone that's really strong in those areas, correct?
Well, let's say what I don't think Warren Buffett can really help me at the level of money he own. I would rather ask somebody that's starting off. I would rather ask you. I would rather to talk to Warren Buffett than to talk to you. Warren Buffett is way above my pay grade when I can ask somebody like you that's closer to the ground level with me. Warren Buffett,
Mm.
but I can ask somebody that's closer to the ground level, that's above seeing me, that went through the struggle with me, have a different view. Because like I tell people. I'm not a trainer for everybody. I'm not here to train everybody. Everybody can't deal with me. You know what I'm saying? They can't deal with my mouth. They can't deal with me cursing. They can't deal with me. You know, somebody like I have mostly women. You know how to train women. Some women want to get away from their husband, authoritative husband. You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person do what I say. You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking no questions. I know this. No, you don't do what I say do. You know what I'm saying? So I don't. I'm not for everybody. So me being accountability to them wouldn't work well with them. So I'm saying they got to know their self, and I got to be like I said. When I train people, I tell them I'm gonna give them 3 days, and they usually say I don't need 3 days. I say the 3 days not for you; it's for me to see if I want to train you, because I'm not for everybody. So that's what I'm saying right there. Because everybody, you know, what I'm saying just that mentor. I believe in mentorship with the right mentor, the right people that fits you. You know.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
Now,
and again, both answers can be right, Keith. Right? Like
Right.
for me, if I see Warren Buffett, I'm gonna spend most of my time asking him questions because success does leave clues, right? For me, even Warren Buffett had to start somewhere, right? So I get it. Like you want someone from the ground level, and again, your answer is not wrong, right? I
No.
just know for me, if I have the opportunity to ever speak with him, I'm going to try to get as much knowledge as I can because I know at some point he's going to be aware of the audience that he's speaking to, right? So he's not going to come at me talking about $1 trillion stuff. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell me how it started and the best way to start, right? I don't know. I don't
I
know.
I done sit in on one Buffett. He talked to college students. He never talked about investing.
Mhm.
And if I was with Warren Buffett, I just shut up.
Yeah.
I shut up. I wouldn't say nothing because I don't know the right question. I don't know the right question to ask him. And that's what I'm saying. I done sit in this thing when he used to meet with students and he was just talk about regular things with them. It would be about investing. It would be about regular things and what they idea, trying to get them to understand who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't number one Buffett, Charlie Munger. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can be Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger. So who are you want to be? Who you want to be and what you want to do. So that's what he do when he had them meetings he used to have with the college students, and he would be playing with them. He would be doing silly stuff and to get that and eat and have dinners with them. So I don't sit in on this stuff. But if I was with Warren Buffett, because I wouldn't know the right question. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know the right question. But go ahead. That's me. I'm just saying with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
so we want to ask the listening audience, you all out there, if your life is responding to your standard, or is your life responding to your goals? World premiere word on the streets. Listen, community, we have goals, we set goals, and we have standard. But what if our standard is they are convoluted? And you see, this is where we have to really go back to basic. The fundamental things of change is a phrase that Keith Fletcher coined a long time ago. It was true yesterday, it's true today, and I suspect it'll be true tomorrow. And that phrase, friends, is gotta get your mind right. See, because if your mind, the only reason we can have standard is because we got our mind right. Many of us are living on what we was taught, what we saw. We were influenced to think, believe, act, and be a certain way. We were influenced, and some of that influence was positive. It was good. Not all of it. Not all of it. Some of it was bad. Some of it crippled us in certain areas. Some of it held us back. Some of it moved us forward. Some of us helped us set some standard. And it didn't matter for the ones that had that instilled in them. They tend to elevate and rise with or without goals. But with that, they were able to have structure. The goals gave them more structure with their standard that they got. from others a long time ago in their life. And they learned some things, and the standard became even stronger. That standard transferred into who they are, which your character. And you know what that character is, that thing that you do when no one else is watching. That character and you are intertwined of one. That's your standard, man. That's your standard, lady. Your standard needs no applause, need no data boy. And this dance is constantly going on. And this thing about having a standard, it goes back to the original phrase. Unless you get your mind right, everything else is secondary. Somebody grab me an umbrella, get me out of this rain.
That was smooth, man. You got something else, or what? You want me to go?
I don't know. Keep smiling over there, so I'm gonna let.
I'll let him have it.
Keep kidding and grinning, so I'm gonna let him play
That
it out.
was smooth. Much more than I said. I like that. Dude.
Oh, I was just putting off in the chat,
What they
like
said in the
standards and boundaries, right? Like it's we can choose different words, right, to get the actual meaning that we want. I think what you said, the word that you use, extraordinaire, was intertwined. Uh, at some point, the goals and the standards do mix, right? They do
Yeah.
go hand
Yeah.
in hand and work together, right? It's almost hard to say you can't have one without the other because you have to set. I don't want to say you have to, but it's in the best for me. There's a lot of us that are goal oriented, right? And I know
Yes.
you've heard the term being used. Hey, what are you goal oriented? Some people are money driven. Some
Yeah.
people just want to hear the word thank you. So it's just for me when I look at that, man, and I try to dissect stuff. Sometimes I overanalyze stuff, and sometimes I have to find a way to just kind of keep it simple. Uh, because I really want to just make sure everyone understands. But again, I have to be aware of the audience too, right? Like Keith and I was saying, if we're going to talk to Warren Buffett, some people have a different approach. Some people just want to listen. There's only one, right? But there's only one until there's another one. Records are made to be broken, as we've seen. Uh, and again, I'm an advocate of success leaves clues, but I think somewhere within the blog extraordinaire, there was something about like the silent, was it silent rule or what was it, brother? There was something, it was talking about something that's silent, kind of like when you're
In
playing.
this blog, in this blog, or in the previous
There was
blog.
one in your blog from
Oh,
this. Yeah. It was something. Maybe it was the third or fourth or fifth paragraph, but it after the first or second bullet point, it was talking about like silent rules and just things that are just not spoken that you kind of know about. Uh, but it's I don't want to just kind of ramble on about it though. It's just for me. I still think that they intertwine. You can't have one without the other.
let me
And
let me
yeah,
say what you said, Vince. When you coach football,
yes,
you
sir.
run with standard. We had standards off the back that we would not gonna break.
That was
So
a
we had
step.
a goal. So we had goals into that season. You know what I'm saying? We had
Correct.
so many catches. The quarterback had goals.
Hmm.
The receiver had goals. The
But
team
the
had
end goal
goals.
was to win.
Yeah, but I'm saying with more than just winning, but it had individual goals too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
true.
But we still had a standard
Oh
you
yeah,
know, on top over that, on top
yes,
all that. We not There's a certain standard that we're not gonna break, a certain standard that we're not gonna beat. So that's what
correct,
I'm saying.
correct,
That foundation right there, the structure, is that standard right there. Now
correct,
in between that standard, you know what I'm saying? Now we got goals on top of that. You know what I'm saying?
correct,
So the standard
correct,
is this. We're not going below this. You know what I'm saying, to get those goals. So that's what I'm saying.
correct,
The standard is the foundation, is the flow chart, is the structure, and then we go into the goals on top of that.
correct,
That's what I'm saying.
correct,
So like I
correct.
said, the
No,
standard,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna have practice every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do this many runs. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? That's standard. But the goal is to this after that. Okay, well, right now we started off running 5 left, but we're gonna work our way up to the goal is to work our way up to 15 left. So that's what I'm
correct,
saying. But the standards within
correct.
that goal. Yeah.
Yeah, the standard is what we would and wouldn't accept.
Yeah, that's
But
what,
like
when,
you
what,
said,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
What,
yeah,
when,
yeah,
why, who,
yeah,
where. Yeah. What, when,
which
why, who, where. Yeah.
which kind of goes in line with the boundaries, right? Like there's certain limitations. Uh, we try not to have star players, right? We knew who was good and who wasn't good, but it's like that standard was for all players. There was no actual prejudice there.
The
And
standard
then,
was
like you
everybody
said,
was getting to play. That was a standard. Everybody
yeah,
get to play on the game. That was a standard. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Then there was the as we saw, whenever a certain number of hits, we put the stickers on the helmets, right? Those were the rewards for certain goals that were met.
Oh,
So
exactly.
that's why I said I don't ever want to lose sight of the goals, because I think there's a misnomer when people say, well, goals are bad. Goals are good. It's just on how you use them, right? We had that, like there was a prime example. Certain number of tackles, certain number of catches. Kid got a sticker. Kid got the hitter sticker. Kid got the smasher. Kid got the pancake. Kid got the touchdown. In corporate world, what do? We incentivize, right?
Hmm.
Commission base. I'm a manager of AR plus collections. There's an incentive, right? There's a percentage that's paid out if you meet a certain goal or how much is actually bought in. So again, there's a standard, like you said, which is the baseline plus the foundation. Like, when you get a concussion, there's a baseline test done before the season starts to make sure when someone gets a concussion that they're back at that same state. So the standard has to be there. It's just looking at the title, I kind of argue with it at times because it says your life is responding to your standards, not your goals. This is why I say there's no wrong answer. It could be both can be right. It's just I think they work hand in hand.
No, they got to work together. But like I said, it's just like as you were saying in tackling. You getting a sticker for tackling, but the standard, okay, you get a sticker, but you can't hit nobody in the back. You're not going. You tackle them, but you hit them in the back. You clip them, you don't get a sticker for. So the standard is no,
As
we're
a
not having.
consequence,
So
as a
that's
consequence,
the standard. We're not having no. And but then tackling right doing that, you being consistent, you get a start. So that then it build up to your goal. So you do these
correct.
discipline, you showing up, you being consistent, all that's building off that foundation, and then you become the goals that you start setting. So the consistent and all that builds the goals. So I'm just saying the standard is all right, this the borderline, this is where we at the base, and then we build on top of that.
I like what you said, and I know extraordinaire trying to hurry up so we can get a little break. I
Yeah.
like what you said about pushing in the back. So when you do it in the real world, there's a consequence. If we run a red light, right? There's a standard of stop at the red light.
Yep.
If you run the red light, you're either gonna cause an accident, or else you will possibly get a ticket, or you might get away. The standard and the rule is actually governed. It's when you run it, right? There's a reward. If you don't get tickets, if you don't get this, you get cheaper insurance, right? Again, they all go hand in hand.
That's Vincent Craig, ladies and gentlemen. He like to bring reasons to chaos. He just can't leave it on the table. Got to make some heads and tails sense out of all of this thing. And look, friends, if you all out there enjoying the world premiere Word on the Streets, the three of us, we're asking for a small favor of you. Please subscribe, leave us a comment, and click like. Now, friend, we would love nothing more than to hear from you. We want to know, do you like our program? Are there subject matters you would like for us to discuss? Drop them in the description. Let us hear from you. We don't mind driving down your highway. But we're going to take a small commercial break, friends. Don't go anywhere unless you text someone and let them know, hey, y'all need to tune in to the world premiere Word on the Streets. But we're going to take a small break. We'll be back in 2 minutes or so. Thank y'all again for tuning in to the world premiere Word on the Streets.
Next week, we're stepping into a conversation that might change the way you see every relationship, every opportunity, and every version of yourself you've ever settled for. Because the truth is this, you don't get what you want, you get what you're willing to walk away from. And if that line hit you, good. That means next week's episode is one you cannot afford to miss. Trust me, you'll feel this one.
All right, family. Now it's time to go deeper. This is the moment where we peel back the layers, challenge old thinking, and get real about what's truly holding us back and what can finally push us forward. So grab your journals, lean in, and don't just listen, engage. And if something resonates with you tonight, do us a favor, subscribe, like, and share this message with someone who needs it. Because the conversation we're having is bigger than us. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets. Let me talk to you for a minute, just you and me. Because somebody listening right now has been frustrated with their life, angry at their circumstances, confused about why things aren't changing. And I need you to hear me clearly. Your life is not responding to your goals. Your life is responding to your standards. See, goals are easy. Anybody can set a goal. Anybody can say, I want more, I want better, I want different. But your standards, that's the truth. That's the part of you that shows up when nobody's watching. That's the part of you that decides whether you rise or whether you repeat. You keep saying you want peace, but you keep tolerating chaos. You keep saying you want love, but you keep accepting inconsistency. You keep saying you want success, but you keep choosing comfort. Your standards are telling on you. And I'm not saying this to judge you. I'm saying it to free you. Because the moment you raise your standards, your life has no choice but to rise with them. When you decide, I don't live below this anymore, I don't accept this anymore, I don't negotiate with my excuses anymore, everything around you starts to shift. Your habits shift, your relationships shift, your opportunities shift, your identity shift. And listen, I know it's hard, I know it's uncomfortable. I know raising your standards means letting go of versions of yourself you've been loyal to for years. But you cannot become who you're meant to be while protecting who you used to be. So today, I'm asking you to stop talking about the life you want and start living at the level your future requires. Not perfection, just higher standards. Because your goals might inspire you, but your standards will transform you. And when you raise them, truly raise them, your life will respond.
All right, family, keep those comments coming in as we get ready to get locked back into your life is responding to your standards, not your goals. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Friends, thank you all again so much for tuning in to the world premiere of Word on the Streets. Look, during that commercial break, oh my goodness, we're so fortunate to have you all in that chat room. Look, I'm gonna try to. Selena had a very, very worthy, wild message that needs to be said.
Yeah.
She said, "Today I thought about dropping my standard to meet my goals." Just let that soak in your mind for a moment, because I think we've all been there. Well, momentarily, man, I love this when we could be raw and honest with ourselves. That's just real. That's real talk, brothers. I thought about dropping my stand. One prayer, one phone call changed my life, changed my mind. I kept my standard high, and I will be able to meet my goals in due season, in due time.
I like that. I like that. She's
That's
being transparent, man.
transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, brothers. Vincent, you were saying some stuff before we went on break, man. Why don't you continue with what you were saying? Let me try to catch up with some more of this good stuff in this chat room.
No, I really want to kind of capitalize on what Selena said, man, because I think, and I was writing that down when she put that in the break, man. That takes a lot for an individual just to be able to be humble enough to just kind of
Yes.
it kind of goes back into integrity, character, ethics, and your moral fabric. Like those are things like people just don't appreciate these days. I was in my men's Bible study. We do it every. Keith was able to join me to one of them. It's like a book club, kind of like slash men's group at 6:30 in the morning on Saturdays. This young cat he's like 21, and he goes and he says he people get celebrated for when they're recovering alcoholics, and again, I'm not bashing anyone, so let me not say that. He said the world is so spent on celebrating the people that when they recover from that, he was like, how come we don't hear enough news about the people that stay on the right path? And I was just like, man, there's a lot, because how many times have we seen something on the news that comes up and it's like, or you'll see it, it'll be a small one liner, such and such did this great thing and blah, blah, blah. Because the world feeds off drama, right? The vast majority of the world feeds off the drama, and they need that entertainment and they need that dopamine, right? But what she said, I was just like, man, we've all been there, like you said
Yeah.
earlier. But it
Yeah.
goes back to what you had pointed out earlier about character when no one else is looking. Like how many of us have sacrificed and done something just for the sake of money or trying to meet a goal or trying to meet a
Yes.
quota?
Yes.
Like I really appreciate that, and I think we can
Yes.
all attest that we've
And
probably
right.
thought about that or either had a decision to make on, am I going to cheat? Am I going to do this? Right? Because cream always rises to the top, right? Shortcuts will eventually become long cuts because once it gets found out, things happen, right? And I don't want to talk too long, guys, because I know I got a hard deadline at 8:15, man. So, but thank you,
Right.
Selena, for just being able to just be transparent. And as Keith says, you allow yourself to get naked on here, right? With the actual truth and the actual transparency. Your transparency is going to help somebody else.
Uh, Thank you very much, Vincent. I want Fletcher before you speak. I wanted Selena. I can't hardly read and do what I want to do it all at the same time. But I wanted so much to show some love because what you said, as Vincent just said, man, it take a lot. I don't know if the people out there who tune in, it take a lot of a person to be able to allow themselves to be vulnerable and
Mhm.
to express herself as we do so well. And Selena, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with our community. I'm sorry, Fletcher, go right ahead.
That's what I was saying, man. To me, and I was speaking more, standards are way more important than goals. It's way more important than having goals. And Selena just said it so eloquent, showing you right there what is your standard. I remember when I was working in a warehouse, I took this job working overnight, and I was working there, and I remember this guy picked up this big old glass, and he had to carry stuff, and I remember I quit, I walked off, and I remember I went home, I was in Seattle with my brother. Remember, I came home, my brother said, "What you doing home?" I said, man, I'm not doing no shit like that. Excuse me, ain't no stuff like that no more. I said, man, I'm going back. I'm going to get me a computer. I'm going to get me an office job. I never worked no stuff like that. I'm not saying, and I'm not lowering my standards to that. That's what I'm saying. The standards now, goals, and I'm going to go by goals. We can do goals all the time, but the problem I feel with goals, like you said, Vince, about the guys celebrating. I don't think about we don't celebrate ourselves enough. We'll do a goal and we'll just go on to the next one. We'll do a goal, and I think that's the problem. We don't celebrate enough when we do accomplish something, accomplish that goal. You know what I'm saying? To me, you know what I'm saying, we're setting that standard, making a decision, and being steadfast. Like they say, I got on the ship, landed, I took all the sail, I burnt all the wood. I'm not going back there no more. You know what I'm saying? I landed here, I put a pin in it. This is it. That's a standard, and I'm not moving no farther than that. But goals going through the way, you can move goals farther, you can move goals here, you can shorten, you can make them long, you can do things like that. But that standard, when you set that standard, man, that, for me, that's it. That's the decision, and and I'm living with it. I'm ready to die for it. I believe in it. That's it.
Friends, Vincent Craig is really giving us the best of himself tonight. Vincent, I'm looking at the clock, brother, and
Hey,
just
brother.
like to be respectful. Look, we would love to have you stay on. and just hang out with us. But if you
Yeah.
gotta go, you gotta go. I understand.
Yeah, as I told y'all, if I can just get y'all prayers, my wife is having a procedure tomorrow, so I just really got to prepare for that. Me and her for that, man. So if I can just get y'all's prayers for that, I appreciate that. It's just I have to find a fine balance, right? And this is that balance, guys. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I love the audience. Thank y'all for just being there for me and the family, and looking forward to just joining next week. And I will watch the rest of the show tomorrow while I'm at the hospital or either slash doctor's office watching, and I'll be able to just kind of critique and just see what I actually missed, man. But y'all have a great night.
And thank you too, brother.
All right, brother. Y'all be
Be
good.
praying for your wife.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna continue in our blog tonight, taken from this show. Your life is responding to your standard, not your goal. It's your life. It's your life. What is your life responding to, folks out there? Our community? Or do you have standard? Or you just living by your goals that you set? Fletcher's going to really open this up for us and to take us on a ride a little deeper, friends. But before you do, we put 8 takeaways that you can easily take with you on your way out the door. It says, number 1, your life rises to your standard, not your dreams. Number 2, you can't outperform the identity you refuse to upgrade. Number 3, what you tolerate becomes your lifestyle. That's sort of like part of what Selena was saying. What we tolerate, it can become your lifestyle. If it doesn't align with who you are, do you want that to be your standard? You want to just tolerate things? Discipline is freedom in disguise. Fletcher and I, we always talking about the fundamentals. People just don't want to do the fundamentals. We don't want to do the fundamentals, like words like discipline. Imagine that, being disciplined. But when you do adhere to discipline, it creates freedom for you. You find out you have more time than you thought you had. Your standard are teaching people how to treat you. Boy, I love that. Fletcher, that's you up and down. When you have certain standard, people know not to even come to you in a certain kind of way. See, they'll come to you, they'll come to different other people, all different kind of way. But when you have certain standards, folks know not to even, don't even go, man, don't even bring that to Moten. You know. Okay, consistency is love language. I'm gonna stop right there. Friends, y'all want to read all of them? Read the blog. It's down below in the description. Got a lot of good stuff in that blog tonight. Go ahead on, Fletcher. Talk to us, brother.
I ain't got too much with it, but man, I like to say setting certain standards separate you from certain people too. It separate you from a different class, put you in a different class also, man. You know what I'm saying? And standards, and standards, certain standards might make I'm sorry, make people not like you. You know what I'm saying? So that's when, like I said, that's when the boundaries come in. It's a standard, but you have a boundary to keep people away from you also. So certain standards that you have, that other people cannot, they might not understand, they might can adhere to it. So that's standard, you know what I'm saying? Some people might say you're uppity, because they don't understand you. It ain't nothing personal. They might envy you, they might be jealousy, but they just don't understand you because you chose to pick a certain standard. You chose to be a certain way, you know what I'm saying? Because of that standard, that foundation, that structure, and it can lead you to be misunderstood, So that's what I say about standards right there. I know I like it. I said that changed my life when I made a decision and started being consistent and started setting the standards for myself. You know what I'm saying? The people around me wasn't used to it because I was being different. You know what I'm saying? I was doing things different. But I went by certain principles, which another thing, principles and structures, how I wanted to do my life and want to be. start setting certain standards, and a lot of people didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? Because I did change, and because I wanted to do away. But also, it bring another type of people around you. You know what I'm saying? It being another type of group around. You know what I'm saying? To take you to another level. Also, you know, you take you to another plateau of learning things about yourself. So having standards, high standards, change is good, and it's hard sometimes. But being consistent and dedicated to it, and then once you get the standard, man, start putting goals with it, adding goals. I'm not against goals, not at all. But I believe in structure. I believe in setting that standard first, and then putting those goals in it, and celebrate yourself when you accomplish those goals. And I think that's one thing about goals. I think once we have a goal, we go by so fast. We don't celebrate it as we should. We don't put it down, write it down and celebrate it, and we just take goals to check it. So when you see a standard, when somebody going by a standard, you see it. You know what I'm saying? And they sticking to it. You know what I'm saying? You can see it. But goals, they come and go. You here and go. You change it back and forth. But we need to celebrate it more. I think it'd be more accomplished to you.
You know, brother, nothing kills us more faster than our mind. Nothing kills you more faster than the thoughts in your head. And family, listen. Fletcher and I, we do a lot of talking offline, and one of the things that we tend to talk about is the challenges it take in making changes. See, we could talk about goals and changes and everything like that, but when you get to the nitty gritty of it, as they say, when you pop the hood up and get underneath there, you start finding that making changes that's a work. Someone said earlier, it's a work in progress. One thing affects something else, and that something else affects something else, and that something else affects something else. And you realize in real time, you start realizing this standard that you want for yourself, these changes. Who do I need to become to get the things I want, to be the person I want to become? I got so much stuff. I got so much junk in my mind, in my head. It's in my way. I sometimes see it clear, Fletch, and sometimes I'm confused, man. And I get aggravated because I'm so confused. In my confusion, I'm not getting to where I want to get to fast enough. See, and when we start feeling that way, like we're not moving fast enough, that's a thing right there that needs to be worked on. Every notch, every scintilla of a turn. That's why change is a challenge. Every scintilla of a turn require some attention to move you closer to that person you desire to be. And that's why I personally find life is fascinating, because there's so much that need to be worked on. I mean, I have tools all over my mind that need to be put together to put this puzzle together. I get one set better than it was last year or last month, but there's so much other areas that I need to fix to move forward. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Fletcher, you feel what I'm saying, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about that moving forward. That purpose driven for you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I deal with every day. How can I be better to serve someone else if I need to? But I got to be better. I got to pour into me. You know what I'm saying? Fill my cup up. So I got to have certain standards. So like saying, calling a pot, calling a kettle black. I can't tell someone else to do something that I'm not willing to do. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell somebody what they should do and I'm not doing. So to me, like when I tell my kids, this is my belief system. This is my home. This is what I believe. This is what I'm doing. What I'm saying? Now, you don't like it, I understand that. You got to go. You have the right to go find your belief. But basically, that's the standard I'm holding to me. What I'm saying? You might not like it, but it's it. This is what I'm doing. So that's the standard I have. Just like me and you talk about this show, we're not gonna get on here and tell some lies, or we're gonna do, saying put somebody else down, or that we made standards for when we even start talking about doing these shows. Correct, extraordinary. We have
That's
standards.
right, man. That's absolutely
Our standard was we gonna show up, even though we sick, whatever. This out, we gonna show up, and if we don't, we gonna let people know we have a standard. You know what I'm saying? How we should do things. Then we got goals within that standard. Yeah, we want to get more people. Yeah, we want to have more likes. Yeah, we want to get more subscribers. But we have a standard that we have within our show that we have. And so that's the difference between
right.
me, yeah, me and
That's
goals.
a good point, man.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
that's that foundation, what I'm saying, man. But them goals, like I'm not against goals at all, you know what I'm saying? But you can move goals, but man, you can't, like Selena said, you can't just throw your standards away, go below your standards for anything, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you have the right ones you've been going by. So don't lower your standards, man. That's way more important than missing a goal. That's all I'm saying. But we need both of them. You know what I'm saying? Like you said about dreaming. Man, I love the dream. You know what I'm saying? I can dream all day, but my standards have to have me to be able to dream. My standards set the play up, like in football. We setting the play up for the game. You know what I'm saying? I got to set the play for the game, for the thing. So that's the standard, right? I said in the foundation of the structure of that, man. And I work constantly on that, my standard. You know what I'm saying? Setting that standard.
Look,
Yeah.
let me say this to you, brother, and you take this and ride with it any
Yeah.
which way you want to. But what if somebody came to you, Fletcher, and say, "Look, Fletcher, man, you can have hundreds of thousands of views if you talk about Hollywood gossip."
No, I couldn't do that.
How,
I wouldn't. I couldn't do that for the views or for the money because I'm not going. Because that energy gonna come back on you, man. I just really feel. I've been in the real world. You know what I'm saying? I've been in the real world when you put out some energy, man. It's like that movie on.
so your standard wouldn't let you do that to
Nah,
yourself.
won't let me do it to myself because I know what's coming back with it. I already know I already set that what's coming back. What you put out once you start. But and you think you prepare for that, what I'm saying, energy, but that energy come back, and it ain't gonna come back like you think it's gonna come back. You know what I'm saying? So no, I wouldn't do that. No.
And you can elaborate on that because Fletcher does a show 2 or 3 times a week, as I said, on Facebook, and he get just like Selena did tonight. He get very vulnerable and open about his past life, where he was, and he talk about these things, and then he connect the dots with his method and his application, things he learned, applied them, and this is where he is today. And then you hear him talk about this is where, if he continue on this path, where he will hope to be tomorrow. And anybody can do it. He let everybody know you could do it too. Now, and it gets average from 200 to 400 views. And the man just said, if someone told him, brother, you can have hundreds of thousands of views if you start talking about what's going on in Hollywood, what's happening in the rap world. If you would talk about social media gossip, you can have X amount of views. And the brother just said he'll continue talking about things about his finance. Square that up, brother. Make it make sense.
It's just like people talk about politics. I wouldn't talk about the president. I don't know what any president, what they have to hold or what they have to do. You know what I'm saying? So for me to come in here and speak on something when I don't know the whole picture, like you said, I'm talking about my life. I'm talking about things that I've been through and what helped me. Like somebody asked me, why you think your way is right? I said, I don't think my way is right. I think it's a way. I'm giving you a way that works for me. That's all I'm giving you. Now, it doesn't mean it's gonna work your way. Take some of the things what you can and apply them if you can, if you choose to. But these things work for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm giving. It's a way. You know what I'm saying? Now you choose to take that way. Like when I train people, and they're like, "Well, you did this. I'm showing you a way. You might not see it, but when the finished results, when it's come, I'm telling you, you'll be where you want to be at. Because when I ask someone, like when I train them, I say, show me a picture of how you want to look. The person you want to look like, give me a picture. Once you show me that picture, I already know. I'm looking at you. I'm weighing you. I'm taping you. I know. Now I'm not gonna forget. I know what it takes for you to be that person. You don't know what it takes to be that person. I know what it takes to be that person. Then when I start giving that to you, you was like, wait a minute. What you doing? I'm like, you said you want to be this person. Then you gave me a time frame to be that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're willing to do the things to be that person. So it's gonna take a structure. That structure what I was set up first. That's that standard where we at right here. You know, certain things that we ain't gonna go past. But those things with me, man. And like I said, doing my way, I tell my story, man. When I came out, graduated, I was just blown in the wind. I had no direction. I had no standard. I had no discipline. I didn't have nothing. I had no consistency, nothing. I was just being blown in the wind. You know what I'm saying? And over the time, I done listened to other people. I've been in the military. I've lived in different states. I've been around different types of people, different cultures, all that, and different people houses, $1 million houses. People that have their own business, all these things. You know what I'm saying? So the things that I learned, listening to other people, they had mentors too, that good ones and bad ones. You know what I'm saying? Some that I had that I wish I would have kept, that didn't recognize they was a good mentor because I was in my own way. But at the end of the day, once I realized who I was, when I knew who I was, what I was here to do, that's when it changed for me. That's when it was easy for me. Back then it was hard. It was hard trying to, because I didn't know me. So I didn't have no standards. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no principles. I didn't have no, so when I didn't have no belief, I was going off of behaviors. And once I got that wrapped up and started understanding who I am and what I wanted, that would have made it easy for me. You know what I'm saying? Then I could do goals now. Writing down goals became easy to me. I got goals right now that I'm saying that long term sometimes I got to say, ooh, I put that too short. I'm going to put that a little longer. I ain't ready for that one. So I'm always, goals change. My standards won't change. You won't change the standards.
What did that? I mean, what happened? What clicked? What caused that transformation in your mind?
Man, when I lost everything, then I had to depend on somebody. The thing with me, I never tend, if people that know me, I don't like owing nobody nothing. But when I lost everything, went through divorce, and I had to go, borrow money and pay, and this, I that right there was it for me. And I made it, like you said, I said I would never, ever be in this situation again. So I had to understand it. I was gonna let no one put me in that situation again, or let myself be there. So that's where it started right there. That's when the standards started happening. Like I would never be in that position again. And you know what I'm saying? And I would never let no one else put me in that position again.
Okay, but I mean, feeling strongly that way, it had to be more than that. What when you made that self declaration, did like better information come to you?
No, I didn't have. When I made the declaration, I was like I said, I was hurt. How did I get myself? What this is a story right here. I remember uh, this guy that stayed at my dad's house. He didn't have his life together. He was sleeping on the sofa, and I made a statement to him. I said, "Man, you a bum." I said, "I'll never be like you." You know what I'm saying? I'll never be like, we were talking noise. He said, "Yeah, okay, okay." And I found myself on that sofa, right where he was at, that same sofa, all them years later. And I remember saying that, like, damn. And I said, man, I tell her I had to get up right there. I said, I can't lay down on this sofa. I got to get up. I got to do whatever it takes to get off this situation. And that was it right there. That was
Well,
it.
how did you get to the point of getting your credit right to get you on that path?
Well, man, I'm saying before it wasn't nothing about credit. My credit was tore up, so I couldn't even think about no credit. If I'd have thought about credit, I'd probably been still on that sofa because I was in terrible shape. So I just need to get to work. But see, the thing is, I look at it now. I tell people all I knew was two things to get a job, and the second thing was to get another job. I didn't have no information, but I knew I had to go to work, and I didn't even know the type, like saying, the opportunities that was out there for me. So again, I went and did what I do. I went to the mall and got a job at the mall at the shoe store. You know what I'm saying? And it just went to work. You know what I'm saying? And that when I tell people, by me not knowing, not aware, that was took long for me. The lack of knowledge took a while, but again, being in America, you can lose that. People talk about America and all that. Might get into that, but been in this place, you couldn't do that nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anything. You know what I'm saying? Just to go to work. I didn't know where to put my money, how to save my money, how to this. I just knew I was in survival. I needed to get food, shelter, and clothing. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was thinking about: food, shelter, clothing. Then okay, I got kids. I got to send my kids some money. I got it, that's all I was thinking about there.
That's what I'm getting at. So when you got yourself together, but it was when you started getting some knowledge, it kind of helped you to become more focused in the direction you wanted to go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, the knowledge and all that. But like I said, all the knowledge, it was all like, again, we have, when you in that survival mode, you have a lack of trust. So that's what I'm saying. I wasn't trusting nobody. And then when you're in that survival mode, you put, like you say, you put the people that's in survival with you. You know what I'm saying? Most of the people that was wrong was in the same situation I was in, so they really couldn't help me. And like when I was trying to come up, I'm trying to tell them to come. They're like, no. So I'm trying to pull them and pull me because these my friends. I'm like, hey, let's go do this. I had a good friend that he went work. I worked at Home Depot. He went work at Home Depot. We went worked at his phone guy. He went work there, but he kept quitting. But I try to pull them on that. So a lot of things in my life, like I said, wasn't it was in survival. I was just like I said, going from here to there. But like I said, when I met my wife now, and this was the big part. I remember she took me to this. I was in my feelings, and she took me to this concert. All these rappers that I like, old school, and it perked my spirits up. You know what I'm saying? Then I had owed some money, and I had some tickets, and she told me, she said, "Man, why don't you just go take this money and pay your tickets?" You know what I'm saying? And I remember I did, and I told her, I said, "Man, Boosie said that song." I said, I promise, I'm making a declaration right now. I said, you're going to have a house, you're going to have a big old diamond ring, you're going to have the car you wanted. I said, start saying all these things to her. I was dead broke. I ain't have no way, you know what I'm saying? But I started saying it. Like, you're going to have all these things, you know what I'm saying? Because, she always wanted kids. I just started saying all the stuff I'm going to give her. And all of them came true and then some, you know what I'm saying? So,
Wow.
yeah, but I just started saying it, man. And again, I said, it's funny. I remember we lived in apartments, and I was like, I can't live here anymore. Then we moved to another apartment, and I still said, nah, that ain't where I want to live. Then we moved. It was a nice apartment, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, my standards, like, then I told her, I said, nah, I want to go get a house, you know what I'm saying? She was like, what? We had a nice townhouse, perfect rent. The rent was cheap, but I was like, nah, I want my kids to have their own room. I want them to have this and that. I started saying that. And like I said, them the standards I started making. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't goals. It was like decorations. Like, I'm gonna have this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the goals came after the stuff. Fixing the credit. Like you said, how that's when the credit came. That was the goal. Okay, my credit score in the dump. I got to get my credit up to fix so I can get the house. You know what I'm saying? But I made the standards first. Yeah.
Okay, here's what I'm getting, brother. And I'm going to try to weave this in with a beautiful statement by Selena. She used two words that start with the letter D, community, and these are some of those fundamental words that are really life changing words: determined and dedicated.
Mhm.
Determined and dedicated. But if you all remember earlier on in the show, I talked a little bit and I talked about some of the lessons we learned while we were young. Some of the behavior we picked up on, the character we picked up on. So, Fletcher, would it be safe to say that that spirit of determination, even though you was going through hell and back, you said you from what see from your background, it just didn't square with your inner spirit, your inner soul, to live like that.
Hmm.
And then you see what where I'm going, brother.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because then for some people, that might have been a thing that just knocked them out for life.
yeah, yeah.
Talk to us about that, man. I think that reserves some meat on the bone,
But
bro.
like you said, man, at the time I was sleeping. I remember I had an apartment. I had an air mattress, and back then I was, when you stress and you going through that, you can't find a way. You're trying to figure out a way, man. I'm smoking. I'm drinking, trying to get that feeling like I deserve something, but I don't know what I deserve. But I had nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, I'm telling you, man, my wife made things so easy for me. Like when people come on my house, I ain't got no furniture in the house. I'm 30 some years old. I ain't got nothing. I used to say that all the time. Like, I'm gonna tell you this. It's funny. I had bought me a TV. It's a Sony Trinitron. That's the only thing I had, man, to my name. And I love that TV, man. That TV. Hey, I I remember when I had my TV and somebody upstairs water dripped on my TV from flooded from upstairs apartment. Man, I
Mm.
had oh my God, I had a blow dryer. I'm trying to blow the TV up. Like, man, I got it. This is all I,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So, yeah, yeah, that was all I had. But man, the TV just try to make something. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to lose nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
yeah, I know.
right.
But like saying, but I had many people that would come over there and sit there and play games and smoke. And I'm telling you, like I said, they would sit on the floor. You know what I'm saying? They was right there with me. And a moment was I had a job. I was working at the clothing store, and I got let go. And I came home, and that was another moment. I'm like, man, I got to do something different. I got to go to school. Because I told myself I was going to go in computers, and I said, man, I'm about to go to school. And I went back to school. I got in school and started. That was it right there. Like I say, things started changing for me. I made a decision on that too. So it was just things, that decisions, that standards that I said I'm gonna do, and I started doing it.
Right.
So like you said, that's it. It wasn't no. I didn't have. I didn't. Let me say it like this. I didn't meet goals. I remember hearing Oprah Winfrey talking about the vision board, like Ben said. I never had understood. I never met goals. No, I'm telling you,
Look,
I never
you,
met
you
goals.
you didn't meet goals till later on in your life,
No,
huh?
I never met goals till later on. Yeah, I was trying to provide something, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't meet goals till now, and I love goals. I got goals now
Right.
that I said, but back then I didn't meet no goals, man. People
But,
said,
but look, brother, look how important this conversation is. Somebody's being helped from this right now. You may have kids, community, and you see how important it is when you see all hell gonna break loose. I want y'all to know at some point in time in our life and on your children's life. Now, what they see before them is probably how they gonna respond to it when the bottom falls out. See, Fletcher and myself, we came from a community and a family that when the bottom fell out, not all of us, but most of us, we may not have had much knowledge about finance or what have you, but that core belief, that core ideal that I'm better than this.
yeah,
No matter where I'm at right now, I'm better than my circumstance. It's not okay for me to be down here. That's in the back of our spirit, in the back of our thoughts. See? And that will lead you so that you know the old saying that we say, what you looking for is looking for you, man. It's looking for you, lady. As Selena say, will you have the fortitude to be determined
Yeah.
and move forward, even when your circumstances are depleted? Fletch ain't have nothing but a TV.
Man.
But look what he got now. Y'all know the old saying, look at me now, baby. You see, we can't see the future. We only can deal with where we are right now. And so to somebody out there, you may not be in the best situation, the best condition. Everything look bleak. Brother, sister, let me tell you, you will not be the last one. Sometimes life is so unfair. Some people go through life and just fortunate as all get out. And then there are us. Then there are us who just seem like if something bad will happen, it's probably gonna happen to you. It's probably gonna happen to me. It probably ain't gonna turn out the way for me like it turned out for you. Okay. But guess what? If you don't quit, it won't last. It's raining, but just because it's raining, like I always say, don't mean you have to stand in the rain. You don't have to stand and fight the rain, man. Grab an umbrella and walk in the rain. Move forward, and eventually, it's not magic. Fletcher didn't get out of the hellhole overnight. I didn't get out of my situation overnight. But if you just keep getting up, keep getting more information, better information, and apply the information you're getting, your standard will rise, you will rise. Then you'll be in a position to start setting those goals that you always heard about that can be a guiding post, like something to guide you along life way. Am I tracking, my brother? Am I making sense? Talk to me.
Yes, sir. You tracking. You know, and I'm going to tell you about this now. You know, I just said about TV. You know, that TV was so important to me. You know, you come to my house. I'm not. It ain't. You know, it ain't no front of it. But I just thought about that. Like every room in my house got a TV. I'm talking about a big TV. I guess because I
Wow.
couldn't get a TV, man. I got.
Imagine that. From having one.
From one, and I was trying to save that one TV. And I remember my brother said, "Man, you got a lot of TV." I didn't even think about that till now. You just said, I guess, because I couldn't afford but that one TV, and I had that TV for a while too, Sony Trinitron. But yeah, man, that Selena Wright, man, being just driven to do it, man,
Yeah.
driven to bid. So like I said, setting standards. You know, and again, I didn't have no goals set, but at all. But I'm saying the thing, like you said, like they said, you look at your situation and you look at the 5 people around you and all that is so true. It's so true. And I just like I said, these things that we heard all the time. When I start seeing, let me say, like I believe. I didn't know, but I believe. Like, man, I don't supposed to be here. And another thing, man, and the Most High I read this in the Bible. The Most High made Abraham leave his family and friends because I'm telling you, it's not your family and friends going. Because see, if I'd have been where I am, most of my family probably would have like, yeah, that it would have been no surprise. You know what I'm saying? Because what I betrayed. But the people that other people saw me, they would say, man, you don't belong here. Other people that was wrong me was like in the area, like the strangers was telling me they saw something in me. You know what I'm saying? I remember this lady named Vicky Parker, man, and she hired me, and I'm like, just saw something in me, and I started me in my first construction working there. She saw something in me, but it was strangers that saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. But I knew that But the only thing I hold up now, man, I kept telling myself too. I kept telling myself too, this is where I'm at now, but I'm not gonna be here. I'm here now. I had to keep talking to myself because man, I ain't gonna lie, it was hard. It was hard because again, the reason it was hard because I didn't have the knowledge, and So that's why I come on my ministry. I come on for me to come on and talk, not just on here on Thursday, but on my own show, The Blind
Yeah.
Truth. Tell you, man, it's a way. You know what I'm saying? And you're in the best place. You're in the best place ever to win. You just don't know a way. You know? And you're going off of behavior. You're not going off of belief. You're going off of behaviors of something that was told to you or something that way. But if you believe, you don't have to have all the answers. Just stop doing the things that have caused you those things and just start. You don't have to have all the answers. But you got to go searching and you got to question things. Question how you was raised. You got to question it. To seek something, to find something, you got to question it. You know what I'm saying? Who, what, when, where, why. You got to question it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to believe. That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, world premiere Word on the Streets. Thank you all again for tuning in. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Selena.
y'all.
Thank you, Ladiana. Thank all of you all for tuning in and making this show a show worth listening to tonight, friends. Vincent, Fletcher, and myself, we never know how things gonna turn out, friends, because we prepare ourselves, but we're so true to ourselves that even when we read something or hear something, we still speak from our personal. See, we make things personal, friends. We're driven that way. And we want to make it personal with you right now to invite you to subscribe, hit like, leave us a comment, and make sure y'all come back next Thursday again to be with us, world premiere Word on the Streets. Fletcher, you have any final words, brother?
Man, we just here. We just here, man, to solve a problem. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to be solution.
I'm sorry, what you said?
Can you hear me? Extraordinaire.
What you said, Fletcher? You had we had lost
Can
you
you
for a
hear me?
second.
Extraordinaire.
Friends, we're gonna see y'all next week.
That's it.
Make sure y'all come back and join us. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again. Same time, same place. Right here on world premiere Word on the Streets, where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.